Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to jump right into one of the biggest, most exciting shifts happening in AI. We're talking about the move away from a single AI brain trying to do everything to these new, dynamic teams of AI agents, all working together to tackle really complex problems. You know, this quote just nails it, right? It perfectly captures this moment. We're not just building a solo genius anymore, we're building an entire crew, a whole coordinated team. So, the big question is, how does this team of AI minds actually pull it off? So, here's our game plan. First, we'll get a handle on this huge shift from one AI brain to many. Then, you're going to meet the specialists on the team. After that, we'll see how they all communicate using a shared blackboard, how their actions basically create a conversation, and finally, how the team picks the right strategy for the job. Okay, so let's dig into the biggest change of all, the architecture, the whole structure. Honestly, the best way to think about it is moving from one super brilliant but totally overwhelmed generalist to a dedicated team of experts. You know, each one a true master of their own specific thing. And this slide just lays it all out. On the left, you've got the old way, one brain just stuck in this frantic, endless loop of trying to understand, plan, and act all at once. But look at the right, that's the new model. It's so much cleaner. It's like a cognitive assembly line. One specialist hands off to the next, moving from understanding to planning to acting and then to evaluating. It's a real process. And that, right there, is the heart of it. This is why it's such a massive leap forward. It tells us that real intelligence isn't just about raw power, it's about having the right structure. A team of specialists just makes the entire system so much more capable, so much more robust. So, who are these specialists? Come on, let's meet the team. All right, it's time to meet the core AI crew. Let's put some personalities to these roles and figure out exactly who's doing what on this team. So who exactly is on the starting lineup? Let's break down the key players. First up, we have the perception agent. I want you to think of this one as the team's analyst, or maybe its critic. Its job isn't to do anything, but to understand. It takes a raw request or the result of something that just happened and turns it into a crystal clear picture of reality for the rest of the team. Next in line is the decision agent. This is the team's strategist. It looks at the analyst's report and then builds the game plan. It figures out the absolute best next move. But, and this is crucial, it's also the one that has to adapt and come up with a plan B if things go sideways. And rounding out our core trio, we have the executor agent. This one's simple. It's the doer. It takes those clear instructions from the strategist and just makes it happen. It runs the code, uses the tools, and gets the job done, all inside a safe, secure environment. So, here's a quick recap of our team. The perception agent analyzes. The decision agent plans. And the executor agent acts. See that? Each one has a totally distinct role, a clear responsibility. It's this sharp division of labor that makes the whole system work so darn well. Okay, so we've got our team of specialists, but how do they talk to each other? How do they coordinate? Well, they don't send emails or Slack messages. Nope, they use something way more elegant, a shared workspace. I absolutely love this description, a cross-agent truth store. This shared space is basically the team's collective brain. It's the one single source of truth that every agent can look at and add to, which guarantees everyone is always on the same page. And yeah, this whole idea actually has a name. It's called the Blackboard architecture. It's a classic pattern in AI. The key is that communication is indirect. Agents don't talk to each other. They post their findings to this central blackboard, and the other agents see those updates and react. This table just shows that flow perfectly. Look, the perception agent reads the user's query, and it writes its analysis. The decision agent reads that analysis, and it writes a new plan. Then the executor reads one step from that plan, and it writes back the result. It's just this clean, beautiful, and completely traceable flow of information. Now, here's where it gets really cool. When you look at this whole sequence of updates on the blackboard, it's not just a boring log of events. Something else emerges. It actually starts to look like a conversation. What this means is that every single thing an agent does, every analysis, every plan, every execution, isn't just an action. It's also a message. It's a turn in a conversation. And when you put all those terms together, you get this amazing, traceable dialogue of the team's entire thought process from start to finish.
Let's make this real. Check out this simplified chat. Turn 1, the perception agent basically says, "Okay, team, here's the situation." Turn 2, the decision agent comes back with, "Got it, here's the plan." Then the executor reports, "Done, I did the thing." And if something goes wrong, you might see the perception agent ping the decision agent like, "Uh-oh, that failed, time for a new plan." See, each step is a clear message in a logical chain. All right, last piece of the puzzle. A great team doesn't just have great players, right? It needs great strategies. And this multi-agent system can actually switch between different playbooks depending on the problem it's trying to solve.
And you can think of two main playbooks. First, there's the conservative team. Its motto is, when in doubt, stop. It's super careful. This is what you want for high-stakes stuff, like in finance or medicine. Then you've got the exploratory team. Its motto is more like, let's try everything. It might run a bunch of approaches at once to see what works. Perfect for complex research or when the goal isn't totally clear. But here's the key thing to get. The strategy isn't just for one agent. It's a team-wide protocol. It changes how every agent behaves. A conservative strategy means the decision agent will only plan 1 or 2 steps ahead. An exploratory strategy tells the executor agent it's okay to run things in parallel. The strategy is what coordinates the entire team's behavior. And that brings us right back to the main idea. This isn't about one single overburdened AI anymore. We are now orchestrating a system of specialized minds, all of them collaborating, sharing what they know to hit a common goal. This is just a fundamentally different way of building intelligent systems. Which, of course, leads us to the biggest and most exciting question of all. When you have teams of AI analysts, strategists, and doers working together 24/7, what kinds of problems that seem impossible today could they crack tomorrow? The potential there is just staggering. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive.